What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Real Word Podcast, a place where real thoughts, real ideas, and real words come to life. I'm your host, Drew, coming from San Diego, California. Thank you for stopping by, tuning in, checking out the channel. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Make sure to hit up those links down below if you want to help out the channel. It would really help us out. And now we can get into the episode. It is Monday morning around 6:10 in the morning. And yeah, not much has been going on yet this morning. Just threw on a little bit of 97.3 The Fan, Ben and Woods. Got a little bit of a recap of the sports world. I watched the Padre games over the weekend, but there was other sports stuff going on in the world that I just wasn't really paying attention to, and I just like that talk radio format, so it's a good way to start my morning. And then I cleaned the glass and everything, and got myself some coffee and just got ready, took some notes to prepare for this morning, and now here we are ready to get it going. So Friday was my dad's birthday, and he was off of work like I had kind of mentioned on Friday. I wasn't sure if he was working or not, but when I got back into the house, he was still there. But we didn't get a chance to do anything for his birthday because he was actually leaving for the weekend, going on a little trip with the family friend and stuff. So they left Friday late morning, early afternoon, something like that. And so I just basically had the place to myself the entire weekend from Friday to Sunday afternoonish. And yeah, it was pretty fine. Like, it sucks being alone and all of that. Like, that's not fun, but it was fine. I still had the dogs here, but it's just funny when my dad's gone and the dogs are here, is like they just don't know what to do. Like, they lose their routine, and normally our girl dog like goes on walks every couple of hours. She's bugging my dad all the time every couple of hours to go on a walk, but it's like we went on 2 walks the entire day because she just did not like come bothering me or anything like that. She just kept laying there and just kind of moping around. It wasn't as bad this time when he left, but it's like she still just lays there and doesn't really do much. And it's like I have to be like, okay, now we're going on a walk, and then she'll be like, okay, let's go. But yeah, it's funny how, him leaving can really affect them and like really throw them off of their whole schedule and everything like that. But yeah, I think me and my brother are planning on doing something for my dad's birthday, maybe this coming weekend or whatever. So we'll figure it out. I mean, we're not gonna just let it pass by and not do anything, but we're gonna try and do something, try and figure something out. But we had no idea that he was leaving until Friday morning, So it's like there's no communication there between us, and it is what it is. That's kind of how it's always been. Let me just run through this. So that was Friday. Like I said, he left and I didn't really do much. It was a pretty mellow day for the most part. It was a pretty mellow weekend, actually. I did watch the Padre game in the evening, and we'll circle back to that. I'll kind of have its own little section where I talk about the Padres. And then Saturday, my mom sent a text, needed some help moving some furniture at her place, and said she would like buy us some lunch or whatever. So me and my brother went over there in the afternoon and helped her move some things, move some furniture around in her house and all of that. And then she bought me some lunch, some Mendocino Farms. I got the Impossible Burger and some potato salad. So good every single time. Um, Definitely one of my favorite burgers. I'm not the biggest fan of the sweet pickles. It's completely escaping my name. It's completely escaping my brain right now, the name of those pickles. But the sweet ones, like, I'm just not the biggest fan of. But with this burger, it goes pretty well. Like, I accidentally bought the sweet pickles on my own. It's like they're still in the jar because I had them one time. I was like, oh, these are the wrong ones. But but with that burger, like I said, with the spice and everything like that, it balances it out pretty well, and I just love it. It's a good burger. Um, Left my mom's around 3, and then came back home, and didn't want to be away from the dogs too long since they were alone. And then I just watched the Padre game that evening as well, and that was a whole different story. And then Sunday, Padre game was on in the afternoon. My dad showed back up around that time as well. Maybe a couple innings into the game. And yeah, so then that's kind of how that was. And just watching the game, hanging out. Afterward, we'll kind of get into all of this as well. I was watching some Alex Jones because there was like a new YouTube channel or something. And then all of a sudden that kind of got banned. And again, that'll kind of be its own little topic as well. So yeah, that was kind of the weekend. It was pretty just mellow. Just didn't really do anything. Just pretty much stayed alone most of the day, or most of the time. I did go see my mom and my brother for a little bit on Saturday, so that was good. But for the most part, it was just me alone and just watching the Padre games and playing a little video games and that kind of stuff. It was interesting on Saturday. Yeah, Saturday. I ended up getting second place in Warzone. Oh, so close to getting first. Oh, I want to get that victory so bad. But hey, it is what it is. I'm not, I don't know if I'm getting better or what, but I'm trying to not use the vehicle as much and not get kills that way as much, and just really like be on foot and try and kill people shooting people that way. But man, it's a tough game. It really is a tough game, man. It's a frustrating one. It's like, it's crazy. I got second place, and then in the morning I couldn't get past like 80. So it is like that sometimes. It is a frustrating game, but it is addicting and it is fun, and yeah, it's hilarious. But it is what it is. Still looking for that solo victory on Warzone. Let's get into a little snap here. I got this new bud. This is bubble gum from Ronin right here. And this bubble gum, my dad's been getting it the last couple of times. And it's like 5 grams for $40. And it's pretty good, man. Like, honestly, it's like really decent for $8 grams. Probably more like $10 grams with the tax and all that, but I like it. I enjoy it. I've only hit it a couple of times. I've only had a couple of bong hits of it since, and this is the first time I've got, like, I just opened this jar, so this is a brand new batch. Like I said, my dad's been getting it the last couple of times, so that's how I've been able to try it already. But let's get into this, and then we'll get into the heart of this episode, man. We got a lot to kind of go over. We got a lot to talk about. I got a lot of thoughts to share. Yeah, so this is how I'll do it. I'll start with the Padres and then go to that, and then, yeah. Cool. Getting it organized all out. One of the things that I had was the last second thing that I remember that happened, and I definitely want to talk about that. So, but it just didn't flow right, and I think the way that I'll have it flow with talking about the Padres first, and then to that will kind of be good. So let's get this bubble gum going. Damn grinder almost locked up on me. I always like to smell it ground up. Damn, it does have like a sweet aroma. That's crazy, man. Yeah, that's crazy. That does smell like a bubble gum. I don't know how they do it, man. I swear, every single time, like, there's a flavor that it actually smells like. I'm like, how do they do that? Doesn't make sense to me, man. So let's get into this. It's that bubble gum. Then we'll talk a little bit of Padres baseball. All right, let's get into this. Cheers, everybody. All right. Ooh. Good stuff. Good stuff. So, let's talk a little Padres baseball. Jeez. Man, I said I wasn't going to let sports affect me emotionally like that anymore, but damn. Damn Padres, man. They are just... Oh. It is, they're fun to watch, but they can be tough to watch too, man. Like, you have a game like Friday where it was just this back and forth constant battle in Colorado, man. And what it came down to the ninth, they were down like maybe oh dude, I forget the exact score. It was like 6-3 or something like that. And there was 2 outs in the ninth inning, and Fernando Tatis Jr. was up. Might have even been 2 strikes, man. I don't even know. But he hit a home run to keep the game alive and keep things going. They ended up with a 4-run ninth inning, which gave them 8. So that was, interesting. They showed heart. They kept fighting back. From what I remember, like, they blew it open like 8 to... Oh, dude, I forget the exact score. I should have looked at the box score. Damn. I just know it was intense because, like, they brought in Gates, and he just was not looking good. He got, like, 2 outs, but then was just struggling. And from my recollection, there was the bases loaded. And then they had to bring in another person from the bullpen, and he ended up getting it done. And it was like, oh, my gosh, thank God, man. And then the Padres ended up winning 8-7. But it was a struggle. But it was exciting because this, it showed that they were not going to give up, and they were in it to the last the last strike, you know what I mean? And then they had their heart and just kept fighting, kept showing that resilience and that hunger, and it was on display that Friday night game, that's for sure. And then Saturday and Sunday, I don't know what happened. But man, everybody always says when you get to Colorado, that's usually when your offense, picks up. But the Padres were struggling with offense in Colorado. I tweeted out yesterday, I was like, can the Padres just please get out of like Colorado now? Like it was rough, man. It was really, really rough. Saturday they ended up losing. The Padres ended up losing with only 1 run to 6. And just no offensive production. I think only like a couple of hits throughout the entire game. Yeah, man, it was really frustrating. And Sunday was a little bit better. The production just was hit or miss, and they ended up losing again, 6-9. And yeah, man, they just struggled with hitting and getting it going, getting the offense going. So now you have Eric Hosmer, who was placed on the 10-day injured list or whatever it is with gastritis issue or something like that. So some sort of stomach thing going on with him. Hopefully he gets healthy. Hopefully it's nothing, too serious. It obviously is somewhat serious for him taking this time off and having those, off and on starts like that. So hopefully, this time off will just get him healed up. Everything get better. I don't know exactly what that all entails and what would need to be done and all of that, but hopefully it's nothing too serious and it can just take this time off and rest up and heal up and get back out there. But don't want to risk health for anything like that. So hopefully he stays healthy or can get healthy and join the Padres as soon as possible. But yeah, man, these 2 losses in Colorado were rough. I do know the Padres still have a winning record. I think they're 6-4 now, something like that. But man, now they're going back home, but they're facing the Dodgers, and you know how they play against the Dodgers. It's never a good thing. Rarely a good thing. They very rarely can get a series win off the Dodgers, man. And yeah, it's tough. It's gonna be a tough time. I believe it starts tonight. I believe so. So yeah, that's what's going on. We will see what happens with the Padres, man. I mean, this is from what Ben and Woods was saying. Out of their next 10 games, they play the Dodgers 7 times. So I think they have like a 3 or 4 games series here. Then they might go or play someone else, and then they go to LA, I'm assuming, for a 3 or 4 game series. So that will be interesting. This is a huge 10-game stretch for the Padres, for the whole National League in general, I guess, because every game is going to be highlighted and heightened. So it's going to be really interesting, man. I mean, the Padres have that team where they have the heart, they have the fight, they won't give up. They have that good mix of the young with the veterans, and it's just pulling it all together and being consistent with it. So we'll see what happens, man. But I'm excited about baseball. I really don't want the season to go away, but we'll see. I just take it day by day. Oh man, I was about to sneeze again. Jeez. So that's kind of where the Padres are at. So let's move on to this next thing, and then this will kind of lead into a bunch of the other stuff that I want to talk about as well. So on Saturday morning, I believe it was, Um, woke up and there was this article and stuff trending on Twitter, but there was, because of this article from the LA Times, something like that, um, where it was accusing Brian Callen, the comedian and podcast host of The Fighter and the Kid. Yeah, he's been in the Goldbergs, Schooled, movies. Like he's a well-known, comedian, actor, and now, podcast host. But there was allegations of him of sexual misconduct and even rape allegations, which is pretty heavy, man. And definitely not a good thing. He has come out and made statements, a couple of statements. He put a statement on Twitter or Instagram or something, this written statement saying like it's not true. He said he was going to put out like an emergency podcast, and it never happened. But he did make this like video statement as well, saying he's not going anywhere. He's not going to just remain quiet. But then in that same video, he said, I am taking a leave of absence from The Fighter and the Kid. So it's like, I thought you weren't going to be silent and not going to let them win and all this stuff. So it's like, make the statement, but in the same thing, you're still letting them win and have control. So I don't know, man. It's probably word from his lawyers or something, though, to like maybe take a break and all that. But it's like, you just made the statement saying you weren't going anywhere and you weren't going to be quiet, and now you're going away and you're not going to be on the podcast. So I don't know. I mean, terrible stuff, man. If it's true. If it's true, that's the key word, you know what I mean? The rape thing, that's what I'm talking about. Like, that's just, if that's true, then he's definitely gotta deal with the consequences 100%. But when you start seeing kind of what's going on, how many people close to Joe Rogan are getting these attacks thrown on them? And I know Sam Tripoli, when this whole Chris D'Elia stuff happened, kind of said it right away that this seems like an attack on Joe Rogan, but they can't get to Joe Rogan because it either rolls off or it's like he's too clean about having these sexual assault or misconduct stuff. Like, that just doesn't seem like who he is ever. And so they can't get him, and it's like he has a really big following, and people are aware of some of the crazy stuff he's said in the past, and you know what I mean? And it's like, I'm aware of it, and it's like some of the stuff he says makes me uncomfortable, but that's a very minimal percentage of the time. It's usually just interesting, fascinating stuff, and it's like, I don't watch every episode, but when it's a person I like, or then I see a clip and it's a really interesting topic and I like what that person's saying, then I'll go check them out. So that's how I look at it. And yeah, I'm completely aware of the things that he's said and all of that, but it just seems like they can't get to him, they can't control him. Like the mainstream programs, it's like, I would assume that they would want him, but he's not gonna do that. Like, he's said it, he wants his freedom to like just be able to do what he wants. Like, if he wants to go on a 2-3 week vacation with his family and not even tell people that that's what he's doing, then he can do that. Like, I remember that happening. He like went to Italy or something with his family. It's like, there was like 2 weeks without the podcast. I'm sure it was like advertised somewhere if you went searching for it, but it's like he doesn't put it on social media or anything like that. So it's like he was just gone. It's like, man, well, I wonder what happened. And all of a sudden, boom, he was back, So he has that freedom, and he just does what he wants. He has the guests who he wants, and yeah, now he got this big licensing deal with Spotify, so it seems like he might be starting to play ball a little bit. But it probably was a deal where it just worked out in complete favor for him. You know what I mean? Like, they probably just did everything they could to just get his name to Spotify. So I don't know, man. It just seems like this attack from D'Elia to Joey Diaz to now Brian Callen. There's rumblings of Brendan Schaub. This whole core of people that Joe kind of associates with has kind of been getting hit with these allegations. And man, it's just like, I look at it as like they're like a fucking mob or something, man. Like, and Rogan's the mob boss, and it's like he's too clean to be touched, man. And it's like all these other guys will like fall or like will take, some of the brunt of the problems, but they'll be fine. They'll you know what I mean? Like they'll be cool. I did hear that Brian Callen did kind of scrub all kind of relationship with D'Elia off of his social media, or at least Instagram, and I did go check. There was no pictures of them together. He wasn't following him. And then I did go to D'Elia's, and he was following Brian. So I don't know what's going on with all that. I do know that both Brian and D'Elia were supposed to have this Netflix prank show thing coming out, and they had already filmed it or something. But that has completely got scrapped, obviously, for now both people kind of in hot water. So, and it's just interesting because the D'Elia stuff, from what it sounds like, nothing ever really materialized from that. No actual physical proof. From my understanding, the stuff presented had been photoshopped. I don't know. I'm just hearing this from a couple of different other people. Sam Tripoli to be one. I forget where I heard it. Another place I heard it, but they definitely said it was like photoshopped. I think from the Legion of Skanks podcast or something as well. So from my understanding, some of the evidence has been photoshopped and not legitimate. So who knows, man? It's crazy, but yeah, there's no retractions or anything like that. It's like they just destroyed Chris D'Elia's career right now, and now people have moved on to the next thing, and now it's Brian Callen, but it's like D'Elia's stuff was never even fixed. You know what I mean? So it's like, hey, and that's why I'm talking about it, because it's like I was questioning some things as well, you know what I mean? And being presented with other or additional facts or whatever, now it's like I'm gonna come out and state it and make at least my side heard, because it's like I don't want to be this one who seems to be like just one-sided, call it out when it happens and then not retract when presented with additional facts. It's like, no, but it's like I wasn't ever presenting facts. I was just going off of what was said and reported, and I just had questions about why other people were kind of remaining silent on the whole thing, and what they kind of ended up saying was real telling and stuff. So that was my whole kind of thoughts on the whole thing, not whether it was true or not. I just kind of wanted to hear how these people responded. And some people, it took a while for them to respond, and some people were like, boom, right there, making statements about it. So it was just interesting. Like, I just kind of had to, circle back around that and kind of touch on that a little bit. But to me, like Sam Tripoli has said, like some other people are kind of saying and suspecting, that this has nothing to do with these people, like with Brian Callen, with Chris D'Elia, with Joey Diaz. This has more to do with them going after Rogan and that whole kind of situation. So it's interesting, man. It's interesting. Like, who else could they go after in Rogan's circle where it'd be kind of a big thing. I don't know, because they're kind of hitting the big ones, man. Brian Callen, Chris D'Elia, those are like pretty big names. Joey Diaz is like best friend as well. So, yeah, man. It's interesting. It's an interesting time, man. It really, really is. But that's kind of all I had to say about that whole situation. Um, let's get into another little snap, and then I wanted to get into some of this, a little bit of this COVID talk. I had some local stuff, and then a quote from the CDC director as well. So we'll get into that. I'm telling you, a lot was kind of happening over the weekend. A lot of information, a lot of stuff has happened, man. So, and then those documents were released, and everybody's saying like Bill Clinton's name was on there like 26 times, and that was already suspected, but now it's kind of confirmed. And then the mainstream has just been so silent about it. Really interesting. Really, it's like, do they just think these unsealed documents are fake, even though they're coming from the court? Like, I don't know, man. I don't know why it's so like there's such a silence on it. It's like, but then you kind of hear that I haven't. Okay, so full disclosure, I haven't read the documents. But from what I'm hearing and seeing online is, excuse me, 100% of the names on that flight log have come out in support of Biden. So, like, what does that say, man? What does that say about the Democratic Party and these people? For all to be associated with this pedophile and going to this island where it's been confirmed, from my understanding, to have this activity there. And all of these actors to politicians and all of these people all have come out in support of Biden. It's like, what? Like I said, full disclosure, I haven't read the articles or the documents, so I don't know all of the names, and I can't confirm if all of them have come out in support of Biden. But it seems like, I trust these sources, for the most part. So, maybe do it like, but again, when you look up the unsealed documents, I feel like now there's going to be fake ones. So it's like, how do you know what's the real one, man? Like, how do you know what is true? Like, it's so confusing and it's so messy, I swear. But damn, that was a complete side tangent. Let's get into this snap, and then let's get into this COVID stuff. All right. So I believe this said as of Sunday, could have been Saturday. It said 13 hours ago from this morning. So I don't know. But as of this weekend, I will say 306 new COVID cases in San Diego. However, no new deaths as of that day. So this gets us to 29,883 cases with only 565 deaths here in San Diego. And again, who knows how many of those are actual 100% COVID-19 related deaths, how many have had underlying conditions, and how many other people died of other things, and then they just mark it as COVID-19. So I would suspect those numbers to even be lower. But even in that situation right there, that seems like a really low percentage. But and then I would suspect it to be even lower just based on all the things that I'm kind of mentioning. So let's get into this. It says the U.S. Centers for Disease Control, the CDC, and Prevention Director Robert Redfield agreed that some hospitals have a monetary incentive to overcount coronavirus deaths, as they do deaths for other diseases. Quote, I think you're correct in that we've seen this in other disease processes too. Really, in the HIV epidemic, somebody may have a heart attack but also have HIV. The hospital would prefer the classification for HIV because there's greater reimbursement, Redfield said during a House panel hearing Friday when asked by Representative Blaine Lukemeyer about potential, quote, perverse incentives, unquote. Redfield continued, so I do think there's some reality to that. When it comes to death reporting, though, ultimately, it's how the physician defines it in the death certificate, and we review all of those death certificates. So I think probably it is less operable in the cause of death, although I won't say there aren't. Although I won't say there are not some cases, I do think, though, that when it comes to hospital reimbursement issues or individuals that get discharged, there could be some play in that for sure. So, this is just, really interesting. Because it's like early on, a lot of these conspiracy theorists, me myself included, kind of had pointed this out, that these hospitals were getting paid more to have COVID-19 deaths. And like I looked it up and it was based on factual information, and like I had heard this before. I've heard that they've done this before, and for, a director to come out and kind of say that this had happened with the HIV epidemic and that this does go on, this is more proof. It's like we get called crazy. We get, like, completely vilified for saying these things early on. But now it's like, what can these people say? Like, just because you aren't seeing it in your place or don't necessarily see the incentives doesn't mean that it's not happening or it's not happening other places. And this is actual proof right here. And I tried looking it up on one of these non-biased websites, and of course, there's no information about this article or this information. So that's why I was like, how do you trust those? Like Reuters or something like that. I can't. There's been a handful of articles or information that I've looked up on there that they just don't report on, I guess. Excuse me. So I don't get it, man. But we all get called crazy. And it looks like we were kind of right all along. And again, I just wish people would start to like listen to me a little bit more, or give me a little bit more credit, maybe dive into some of the information that I present or talk about, because it's like, man, how long ago was I saying that? Like maybe 2 months into all of this, and now like 4 months later, 5 months later, now it's being confirmed. It's like, come on, guys. It's not cool that you guys just like discount me, don't listen to me. And then it's like, what happens when I'm right all along? I don't know. But what am I? I'm just some crazy conspiracy theorist, right? It's I don't know, man, but I'm worried about this election. I am. I'm worried about how things are going, man. You can check my whole thoughts on that on Friday's episode. I kind of go into it. I just had a spur of the moment thought, and it seemed to make a lot of sense. So go check out that episode, and yeah, I'm sure we'll kind of talk about it more as more information comes out, and as it gets closer and closer to election time. But man, I just thought this whole COVID thing with them kind of confirming that hospitals do get incentives was kind of a interesting thing to point out. And it's like, what can you guys say now? All those who said I was like crazy or said it wasn't true, like, what can you say now? I don't know. They can't really say anything. That's what's crazy. Oh man, this whole COVID thing. Why are we still locked down? What are we doing, man? I saw some numbers that it's like the H1N1 flu had way many more cases. Like almost 2 to 3 times as many cases from my understanding from the numbers I saw. Again, I didn't look it up. I'm just seeing stuff online, and I do trust these sources, but again, they could be lying. And if I go look this up and it's wrong, I will retract it and make it known. But dude, and there was no like scare of a lockdown or quarantine or anything like that when the H1N1 flu epidemic happened. The media, I remember like there was some talks of it, but there wasn't this amount of fear based around it. You know what I mean? So there's definitely seems to be some sort of agenda going on with keeping us locked down and keeping this kind of in this situation that we're in. Oh man. So let's get into this. So I've been seeing like Alex Jones videos keep popping up on YouTube. Like people will like put the full show up or whatever. But then like for whatever reason it became like really prominent yesterday. Like I saw Sam Tripoli tweet out, "Oh, what's going on? Alex Jones is back on YouTube and TikTok is being banned," something like that. And then my buddy as well said something like he was watching Alex Jones, and then I decided to throw it on last night. And again, like I said, I've been seeing the videos pop up over like the last couple months or so. So it's like I don't know what's been going on, but all of a sudden there was this big focal point on it yesterday. And I was watching it. I threw it on. And then I don't know exactly how far I got into it, because then I had to go like water my plants and stuff. So I got up, started doing some things. All of a sudden, the video couldn't play anymore. The screen went black. Video couldn't play anymore. I went back. Video is gone. Channel gone. Everything gone. I was like, whoa, man. They just took it down just like that. Just when I was in mid watching it, man. Crazy. Like I said, I've been seeing his videos up there over the last couple months or so. But for whatever reason, there was this big like focal point on it on online. Like people made it like trending from my understanding, from what I remember. And I don't know why, but then it just got taken down right when I was watching it. Right in real time, man. Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy, man. What is going on? There is an info war going on. That's for sure. They want to suppress some stuff, that's for sure. And I don't get why, man. I really don't. It's crazy. And that leads me to the next thing. That leads me to the TikTok thing. It's like my thoughts on that is like it's a slippery slope if we start banning these social media platforms and banning people and all of that. It's like we have the freedom, man, but again, I understand if it's like a national security issue or, there's foreign meddling going on. There's foreign interference going on with an election. So we can't have that, right? Like if the Democrats win, can't we blame China for meddling and using social media to influence and all of that? Like, am I wrong on that? Or um is it only against Donald Trump when that is, even though that has not even been proven, but um, I just don't understand it. But I don't like a ban on an app. Like that's, I don't know, man. Like I said, it's a slippery slope. Cause like, doesn't China ban stuff like their internet access and stuff like that? So wouldn't we be even more like China if we start banning things? So I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm really confused about that whole situation. Um, but this says Trump's threat to ban TikTok comes from the administration, or comes as the comes as the administration investigates whether the app's Chinese parent company ByteDance is harvesting data from Americans. Quote, as far as TikTok is concerned, we're banning them from the United States, Trump told reporters aboard Air Force One as he returned from Florida late Friday. The announcement comes weeks after Trump critics used TikTok to try to inflate expectations for turnout at the president's rally in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So yeah, man. Really interesting stuff. It really is. It's like there's definitely, I think, some stuff going on that we're not being told. The people from TikTok came out and said like the data being stored from the US is in the US and under like tight security, and a lot of the investors are from the United States. So I don't know, man. I don't know what to believe. I don't know what's going on, but I do find it interesting that, Trump wants to ban it. And then Trump is kind of in this, perceived kind of war or whatever with like Bill Gates and Fauci. And, I'm more focused on Bill Gates at the moment, just due to now Microsoft on Sunday confirmed that it has held talks with the Chinese technology company ByteDance to acquire its trendy social app TikTok in the United States. Microsoft said in a statement that it will keep working with the US government on a deal that it intends to conclude talks by September 15th. Thoughts on the potential ban? It's not good, man. I'm telling you, it's not a good thing to have this ban. That's my thoughts. It's like I don't know. Like I said, it's a confusing thing. I'm really confused about it because I don't want us banning things. I don't want us, limiting our access and our information. But then you don't want information to be breached. You don't want, you know, this foreign interference with an election and all of that. So I don't know what you do. I don't know how you get it better. I don't know what can really be done. Because if you start banning things, it's like, how are you any better than the place you're trying to separate yourself from when they're doing those same things? But that's the way it goes, man. I'm telling you. So Microsoft is trying to buy TikTok, and Bill Gates stepped down from the board of Microsoft earlier this year, but is still very involved with the company. So I'm sure he kind of was like, let's kind of see what we can do to acquire TikTok. And yeah, man, it's just kind of this back and forth kind of war, this chess game between Trump, Bill Gates, and that whole side and that whole team. It's really interesting. It's really fascinating to kind of see what's going on, the different moves being played and made. It's really interesting. Like out of nowhere, Microsoft is like, let's buy TikTok. Let's do that. It's crazy. It's hilarious, man. It's like we see who lies where. And then when you already like see this other information that there's an agenda behind these things, and then they already don't like Trump, that's already been stated, you know what I mean? And then now they're doing these things. They're gonna try and buy TikTok after he says he wants to ban it. It's insane, man. Like, it's such a game. I'm telling you, it's all a game from all sides. And there's real players in there too. And there's people in there who want the best for us. And then there's people in there who don't give a fuck about the people. You just gotta start becoming aware and start paying attention. I don't even know all the players yet, man. It's like I'm just getting super involved and paying more attention to everything going on. But the last couple of hearings and testimonies and all that, the two that I've like tuned into and paid attention to, is like you can see it. You can see who kind of or you can see that there's real people out there is what I mean. That's basically all it comes down to. You can see that there's real players out there, but it does seem like a game still. Like they're still playing by the rules of the game, It's really interesting. It is really interesting. Let's get into this last snap, and then I will get on out of here. Cheers. All right, so what else is going on today? Gonna be hanging out with Zach, and we're actually gonna be meeting up with Isaiah, seeing if how we can bring him on the channel and get some content going, and just keep building this channel up, and that's what I want, man. I just want a team of people, good friends, family, just building content and doing what we want to do in kind of whatever facet that is, making music, podcasting, graphic arts, videos, journalism, like all that kind of stuff like I'm interested in, and making this that type of network brand channel, just all sorts of all sorts of content, man. And I'm just building a team. I'm letting it grow. That's kind of always been my goal with this, man. It's always been my goal is just let's help each other, you know? Let's build each other up and keep it going, keep it moving, you know? And that's what I have going on today. Other than that little meeting later this afternoon, nothing else. So just gonna be taking it easy this morning. There's something going on with my knee, man. I don't know what's going on. Like, I haven't been running or anything lately, so that's kind of frustrating. I gotta get back to it. I hit it well for like 1 week, and then I got super sore, and now my knee is all messed up. So I don't know what's going on, but I definitely gotta start working out again. Can't wait for the heavy bag to get in and then the wrestling mats to get in. Hopefully a couple more weeks just on the mats, and then hopefully the heavy bag gets here a little bit sooner. But yeah, I gotta get back to working out. But my knee, man, was tweaked this morning. Like, I don't know what's going on. Gotta roll some like CBD roll on or something on that. But that's what I got going on. Tune in tomorrow for Tuesday Morning Tokes. I will be back. Then check out at _the No World Order podcast. Shout out to Zach for building up that page. We should be going live tomorrow at 2:30 p.m. So check that out. And then I will be back on Wednesday for the Real Word podcast. Hopefully, another episode of Drew and Chase Side by Side will be recorded soon. We do have the albums picked out. We've both listened to them. I just got to take notes, and we got to find out when we can kind of get together and make it happen. So that is kind of in the works. It will be done. But, you know, that one is just going to kind of be, it is what it is, you know? We'll do it when we can. So it'll be special when it happens, though, you know? We'll make it kind of important. But go check out everything. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Go, please hit up those links down below. And until next time, everybody, peace.